taut and hot.
Oh, yeah, we're back. And we are kind of back. Oh, there I am. I am back. Good morning, people of Earth. It is Thursday, May 26th, 2022. Took the day off yesterday, eh? And we're back. I'll be honest with you. I took off yesterday because I wasn't quite ready to deal with talking. I know the news of yesterday was still about what happened the day before. Not going to talk about it, dwell on it too much here today, because I know the purpose of this program is to provide some kind of escape from the world. I didn't do a show yesterday because I did not want to talk about the shooting in Texas, the school shooting, because I was kind of emotionally devastated by it, just so sick and tired of this repeat, rinse and repeat cycle, thoughts and prayers. Let's do nothing. And here's all I'm going to say about it today, and I may say it anytime it comes up. By Monday morning, or by the time you get back to work on Tuesday, nobody will be talking about this anymore. It will be a forgotten conversation until the next one. Unfortunate. We won't do anything about it. We have Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, and no matter what the weather is, people will be drinking, partying, moving on, and for 3 days, 3 solid days, 4 days actually, if you're going to count tonight. Well, I'll talk about it today and tonight, but by Monday, it will be a long forgotten, in the past part of the news cycle. And life will go on, sadly, for most of us, while almost 20 children, it won't go on for. Bummer. Sorry to bring it up again, but it's all over and you can't escape it. And that's a good thing that you can escape it, but it doesn't make this any more easy to do. So let's move on, because I don't want to dwell on that today. So yesterday, by the way, weather-wise, I think we're going to get rained out here in New York for a good part of Memorial Weekend. Let me just check and see. I hope it's better wherever you are, but looking like my gigs definitely are going to get rained out this weekend. Friday, I got a 40% chance of rain. Oh, Saturday's looking sunny now. So maybe only 40, or maybe only Friday night will get rained out. Weather-wise, temperatures, we're looking at highs around 69, 70. Saturday, almost 80, 78 degrees, and Sunday, 75. So, weekend is, Memorial Weekend is here. Unofficial kickoff of summer in the United States of America. And again, by Tuesday, everything, the events of I can't remember what day it is. It was Tuesday, will be long forgotten. Today, Katie Felton, comedian from Austin, will be with us at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, Joey Petroni, part of the Gov Network, a Long Island comedian, will be with us. Joey Petroni. I want to get everybody singing Petroni, 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 Petroni. I stole that from Joe Piscopo anyway. So he'll be with us on Friday, kicking off Memorial Day weekend, such as it is. Now, yesterday, a couple of gigs, and not gigs in the sense of club gigs or anything like that. Playing music, and it's enjoyable. But I was at the VA and a nursing home, and that does lift your spirits in some sense. Definitely helps me get past situational depression, which is what I had over the news. Anyway, played an outdoors. Both of them were outdoor shows because the nursing homes here on Long Island, with regard to COVID, are on. I don't know if they call it phase one, condition one. What is that? Very high alert. So they weren't letting entertainers in or visitors in, so I had to do the show outside of the VA home and the nursing home, which was also on the VA grounds. Beautiful, beautiful day. 70 degrees out, sunny, no humidity, just a perfect weather day to be playing music outdoors. And quite a receptive crowd. Folks were loving it. And kind of weird. One old guy, well, of course he's an old guy, is a nursing home in a VA. He was showing his appreciation by doing this in his wheelchair. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then he pulled up behind me, and right behind me, and while I'm playing, started punching me in the back. And I called over to the aide. I was like, "What do I do?" He said, "Well, he likes you. He's just showing you that he like this is the like a pet owner." Talking why his dog is humping my leg. This guy's way of showing appreciation for entertainment is not by applauding, not by screaming out whoop whoop whoop, or any of that kind of stuff. It's flat out punching you in the back. Takes some getting used to. Uh, tell him not to like me so much. uh, weird day, weird day, and another gentleman right in front of me was extremely receptive to having entertainment there. A guy, former Marine. Well, you're never a former Marine. A Marine, no matter how old you get, no matter how long you've been out of the service, you still call yourself a Marine. I got that. I get that. My brother tells me that all the time. He's a Marine. Um, so I played like 10 songs, and then I decided to play Elton John, Your Song. I don't know why. I just wanted to slow things down because I was playing a lot of toe tapping music. It's in the contract. So I just wanted to slow stuff down. And the guy starts yelling queer at me. Queer, you're a fucking queer. Like Elton John. Because I'm playing an Elton John song. Like, you know what? I bet you half the people I played already were homosexual or bisexual or something. Elton's the only one who actually came out and said it. But just weird. I mean, it's actually screaming it at me, screaming queer at me while I'm playing. A little disconcerting. And you're trying to play not as yeah, it's a slow song and not a whole lot of energy in that one. It's a ballad. It's a it is what it is. Not easy to get through when somebody's yelling queer at you. uh, but that's it. So busy day, mind occupied, not thinking about bad news. But there's plenty of bad news. Speaking of bad news, there's an earthquake this morning in California. I hope those people are all right. 4.3 on the Richter scale, which is pretty significant for downtown LA. No damage has been reported yet. But again, hitting the metropolitan area like that, 4.3 is definitely significant. We hope everybody out there is all right. Um, so just trying to keep my mind off of the news, off of the news cycle and all that stuff. Uh, hey, I left the H off the dog this morning. I see that. Coffee with T-Dog. Anyway, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, Tuesday night. I was contacted by a relative on Facebook. My cousin, who I have not seen in 50 years. His daughter contacted me. Now, he since has passed away, and I was fond of this guy. I talked to his wife maybe 30 years ago on the phone. We had planned to get together. Not close, um, and not all that close growing up because my father. It's up from my father's side of the family, and my father was the youngest of 17 children. Yeah, you heard that right. I'll say that again. The youngest of 17 children. So he had brothers who had died by the time he was even born. That's how many people were in his family. His mother had married, that came from three different husbands. She had been married three different times. Uh, all of her husbands died. I'm not saying, uh, maybe it was the cooking. Um, Men died young in those days. Talking about my grandparents. I never knew my grandfather on my father's side. I don't think my father ever really knew his father too much. I think by the time he was a very young man, his father had passed. Anyway, she was putting together her family tree, doing some research, and she wanted to know what I knew about people's maiden names and my grandmother's maiden name and my grandfather's name and where everybody, the roots and all that kind of stuff. And I told her I knew her father well. He was older than me. He's older than my older brother, significantly older than me. Probably I'd say 12 to 15 years older than me. Um, and I told her, basically about her grandfather. I knew her grandfather well. He was my Uncle Hop. My Uncle Louis, who, when he was a kid, was hopping on a trolley car in Brooklyn, New York, and got his leg cut off. And his brothers and sisters and everybody from that point on. Now, this is, as a kid, got his leg cut off on a trolley car. Everybody called him Hop his whole life. I mean, that was as a kid, he lost his leg, and from then on, he was known as Hop. I knew him as Uncle Hop. Called him Uncle Hop all the time. Uh, but my cousin Joey, who was her father, um, he was the older brother to Louis Jr., who was closer to my age and somebody I knew better, closer to, was closer with than Joey, who was the girl who's contacting me's father. I guess that would make her my second cousin in some way or something like that. I think that's how you draw that stuff up. I don't know. Anyway, point I'm trying to really struggle to get to. She was asking me about a family tree, and I said, "Well, as your uncle Louis Jr., he's still alive." She said she heard about him once at her father's funeral. Somebody brought him up. So, uh, my cousin Joey had kids who were unaware of his brother, his only brother, which to me is a little weird. I didn't get a chance to talk to my brother about this yet, but it would be the same. It'd be like his kids not knowing about me until his funeral. Like, wait a minute, you don't know you had an Uncle Louis? Now Louis was in trouble a lot. We called him Midget. Everybody had a nickname in my family. Um, his nickname was Midget. He was rather short, but he was in jail. I know that because a cousin on the other side, who was a cop, uh, was arrested him one time. I know. So he was in and out of jail and trouble. I don't know how he became such a black sheep of the family that you wouldn't even mention him to your kids. Like you have an Uncle Louis, maybe he's in jail or just got out of jail, or whatever. Not even a mention of him. I find that very, very strange, troubling. I know, the family unit is certainly not what it used to be. Uh, but to not mention your only brother to your kids, very weird. So got me on the old heritage back, looking back on my father's family tree, and I have to admit that I know very little about my father's side of the family. I know, again, I know my father was the youngest of 17 children. I don't know all those children's name, all his brothers and sisters' names. I know the ones that share his last name, because again, there were three husbands and three different last names to this whole extended family. Um, and so trying to figure some of this stuff out. I don't know my grandfather's uh, name, his first name. I was guessing at what it might be. I know my grandmother's first name, but I don't know her maiden name. And that would be really hard to find out since she came to America in the late 1800s and married three different guys. And may have killed them all. No, I'm just kidding about that. Like anybody could pay the price on that anyway. But three husbands, and they all died around 54, which is how the curse superstition came to be. All the males in my father's family, all his brothers and his father, died at 54 years old, and my father died at 54 years old. So me and my brother just grew up thinking we were dead at 54. Now, I found out that my cousin Joey, who was the young lady who's contacting me to find out about our family tree, he also died at 54. A lot of that going on my father's side of the family, but I don't know most of the brothers' names. I know some of the sisters' names, but looking them up, now there's a lot of people with my last name in the New York, New Jersey area. Some of them may be cousins, some are related, some of them may not be. Again, there were other last names involved here, so I have no idea. But so a lot of this stuff, I'm wondering, is it worth it to invest in something like Ancestry.com or Heritage.com and do some real investigation, and how good of an investigation can they do some of these records, because I was trying to do some on my own, just using the internet to try to check some of the stuff. It's really difficult to do. It's really difficult to do, so I just can't. And I bet there's a lot of people like me out there with families that don't tell their kids about their own brother. It's making it really hard. I can't even find my father's birth certificate. Now my father now or my even if I Google my father, nothing comes up except my mother and my brother. Because I guess in in my mom's obituary it says wife of, and my brother must have something on him that says son of, I guess. I don't know listed as my father's name. My father's name was a mispronunciation. On the birth certificate, it was supposed to be Mateo, Mateo. But my grandmother did not speak English very well, and had a very East New York, Brooklyn, broken Italian American accent at best. And she didn't speak too many words of English as I remember her. I did spend some time with her in my early childhood. She was ancient in the 1960s when I knew her. But so when she went to fill out the birth certificate, she said Matteo, but they didn't hear her right, and they wrote down Mattino, Mattino, which is not an Italian name at all. It's not a name. It's just he's the only Mattino ever. Uh, but nobody ever called him Mattino. They called him George because, again, my grandmother, with this really broken Italian accent, wanted him to be a judge. She wanted him to grow up to be a judge, and she called him Judge, Judge, and people thought that was George. So his whole life, he was known as George. Nothing on him, nothing on him. And you would think there would be, even though he passed 1983. Um, You would think there'd be something on him because he was a criminal, and he had a criminal record, a serious criminal record, involving federal crimes, involving racketeering, RICO statutes, and things like that. So you would think there'd be something on him. Nothing. Couldn't find anything on him. Very difficult road to go down. I don't know if anybody's ever done the family tree thing, but so I did some of that yesterday, and then again, lots of work, lots of back business stuff on the program. Still looking at different ways that can approach the nighttime show that I want to do. Looking at local venues and things like that. Want to do it in a real venue in front of a live audience. Now, a live audience midnight to 1 a.m. Monday through Thursday might be a little difficult to find and might be skew very young. Because who the hell is going to be at midnight to 1 a.m. for a live stream television, whatever it is, uh, Monday through Thursday? But we'll see. We'll see what we can do. There are some venues within. I don't want to go too far from here. Um, some venues that mm, mm, look promising or show some promise anyway. Um, what made her smile? I don't know what made her smile. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Ted Nagurski. Uh, Later on today, at 10 a.m., Katie Felton from Austin. I don't know if she's from Austin. She's living in Austin right now and performing in Austin. Uh, Comedian who is very active in the Austin scene. Gonna find out some more about Austin, Texas, and thinking about this. There's so much. Austin, not a huge city, and there's so much comedy out there that even if you're really good, I mean, even if there are, I don't know, 100 clubs, which I doubt there are, 100 places to perform, you're probably overextending the audience and um, just making it, really hard to maintain any kind of audience growth, any kind of for any single comedian because you're really spreading them thin. Again, Austin's not a huge city. I don't know what the population is, but I promise you, it's not what it is on Long Island. Not even close. And we have we have one comedy club that's got 3 locations to it. And we're probably spread out geographically a lot bigger, definitely are than Austin. But no matter and it also has the music community, which is also competing for audience every night of the week. I'll talk to her about this because I really want to get to how big can these crowds be at open mics when there are 100 open mics a night in a very small city. How many people could be out supporting them? Who knows? I don't know. Do you know? I'm gonna check the Gov site to see what governor. I looked earlier in the week, but as I found out, this shit can change pretty quickly. Uh, Louis C.K. wasn't listed, and then he was like boom overnight. So I'm just checking. Governor's Levittown. Let me see. Um, I'll share this and we can just go through it really quick. Wow, just passing some time here, drinking coffee, waiting for my brain to start, kickstart, whatever start, some kind of start. Governors, here we go. Governors, this is the Levittown location, the main room. That Yellow Pad Thursday has not changed. Rocco's Workshop, also Comedy Jam. Nope, none of this has changed this week, so that's good. This is the same lineup that we looked at earlier in the week. Let me look at Bohemia's location, which is McGuire's. Drew Dunn, that's still the same. Dom Herrera is still the same. Marty Caproni, I think that's just been added. I don't think we looked at that earlier in the week. And that's that. And now Belmar location. brokerage. Quentin Higgs, I think that hasn't changed. Brent Pella, that is new. That's June 2nd, though. That's next week. So no, nothing is. Everything's the same as it was at Governor's this week. Dom Herrera, that's again next week, June 3rd. What is that? That's middle of the week next week. What, Thursday? Next Thursday. Week from today, I think it is. Anyway, All-Star Comedy Show, and I don't know who that's going to be. You never know who that's going to be. So that's kind of definitely worth checking out, right? So nothing was really changed on Govs. I believe today there's a Dyson Man, or they might have moved it to Friday. Friday, and Last Rites will be today. I don't know. These guys are so fluid. Um, I don't know. I don't know what the schedule looks like for Call and Jamie. I know there will be two shows though. I do believe. I don't say I know. I'm under a strong impression that there'll be two shows. I will check with Carl if he checks in, and we'll find out. Um, oh, that's good coffee and so needed, so needed. Uh, Kelly, did the rain stop where you are? Nice to see you, Kevin. Nice to pop in to say hi to the weirdos. There are not too many weirdos in the chat room this morning yet, but I'm sure they appreciate you stopping by and say hi. We thought you were going to prison today. Turns out you're um, just starting a new class cycle. Well, rain just ended in Oklahoma City. Well, it's still very nice here, but I believe tomorrow. Well, tomorrow we have 40% chance of rain, and it's literally all weirdos. uh, I don't know. We got Ted Nagurski might take exception to that. It's mostly weirdos. We got two weirdos and Ted. Oh, and Michael Zinn is back from his pilgrimage to Mecca. He was at a trade show, but stuck in the airport loop for a few days, which was kind of amusing to read about. Um, I don't know how that. It sounded like the worst. Got bumped off of flights, or flights. I don't know, delayed, whatever. Sounded like that worst experience of airport travel that you can imagine, where you don't get to your destination for days and days. Insane. Insane. What's going on with the airline situation in America, folks? Um, we talk about infrastructure, but how important it is to keep airlines operating on a normal schedule, like they should be, like we got used to for 60 years or 70 years of air travel. All of a sudden, COVID hit, and then things went haywire. And now everybody I know is reporting what Mike Flynn just said: the worst experience ever traveling. Uh, that's the commonality this day. That's not the exception. That's the rule. The worst experience traveling is what's happening. Kidding. Hope this isn't Katie. Just got a Facebook notification. No, nobody's. I am DMing me, whatever. So that's a good thing. Last night's evening program was also um, scheduling mix up. Not mix up, time zone misreading. Somebody in the central time zone was not there when they were supposed to be, and were there an hour later. So that show didn't go on either. So got a day off from broadcasting, and uh, a day off from talking about stuff I don't want to talk about. I really don't want to talk about. Not that I'm uncaring. I'm extremely caring about it. Brokenhearted about it, which is why I don't want to talk about it. Which is why I could not do a show yesterday morning. Just emotionally worn out by the rinse and repeat cycle. Just can't take it anymore. And I would classify it as a situational depression, not a clinical depression, not a chemical imbalance, any of that kind of stuff. Just really frustrated, infuriated, sick of it, just sick of that happening over and over again, and we're never going to do anything about it. And again, just to repeat what I said before, by Tuesday morning, when people go back to work, hey, you people don't go back to work. Mike Zinn will be back to work on Tuesday morning. The rest, oh, Kelly might be back. Oh no, Kelly's day off is Tuesday. See, I remember things. Um, it'll no, nobody will be talking about it anymore after Memorial Day weekend. Good 3 days of getting drunk and stupid. It'll all be washed out, gone, forgotten, a distant memory. Uh, there's something I want to share with people. I'm probably going to share this with the Bible thumper or flat earther uh, that I have on for the happy minute every day. Um, because one of the things, my frustration with the flat Earth people. One of the things they claim is, well, you can't. I've seen pictures of, well, you can't trust that. That's NASA. All the pictures from of the Earth from space. Occurred to me yesterday or the day before. I started thinking, well, you don't need to go to space to see pictures of the sphere, the globe as a sphere. And I thought about, well, I definitely know there have been lots of people who've been to the top of the world, top of Mount Everest, top of Mount McKinley, and they take pictures. Every one of them takes pictures when they're there. Turns out there's lots of flags, nothing but flags at the top of Mount Everest. But here's a picture for you. Now, that's a picture of a guy holding a GoPro, showing you the flags behind him at the absolute summit, the peak of Mount Everest. But in the background, you'll notice the flat Earth with its sphere-like um, curvature that is identical to what we see in the NASA photos. If that's not convincing, uh, there's so many reasons to be convinced that we don't live on a flat Earth in this day and age. But nobody's ever brought up that one before because they always, we go. The default is back to NASA, and then they come back. Well, NASA's fake. They're part of the conspiracy. Blah blah blah. Well, what about the people who climb to the top of the world? And you can do that if you got the balls and if you got the strength and get a Sherpa guy to carry you up there. In my case, and you can go up to the top of the world and take a good look around and see the very obvious shape of the Earth from high up above. That should end the debate. It won't. It won't. They'll carry on. To be fair, GoPro lens. No, no, Mike. It has a I thought that too. Thought about all that stuff. Negated. Negated. You know why? Let me go back to the picture. You can see the focus. It's not a fisheye lens. You can see the focus clear as day, completely around, and he's not distorted. None of with a GoPro, with a fish eye lens, you would see distortion in here and uh, of the image itself. Have plenty of them. You know better than that. That's not how a fisheye works. You would see that curvature would be very clear in everything. It's not a fisheye lens. It's a flat lens. Uh, so no, you know better than that. Uh, what what happened? I heard my name. Did I? What did I say about you? I said you would be back to work at Tuesday. On Tuesday, I think that was part of it. What are you doing? You doing business already there at 8 o'clock in the morning? People coming in for dry cleaning. Everything is wet here, and not in a fun way. Well, maybe because you're not really part of that. You're the gateway, right? No, that's St. Louis gateway to the west. But the Southwest definitely needed some rain. I know Kevin was saying rain in Oklahoma just stop there. I know New Mexico and Arizona desperately need some rain. So while we hate when it rains, it is necessary to life on planet Earth and definitely to keeping fires and natural disasters from happening and all that kind of stuff. We need the rain every once in a while. So um, I'm with you. I hate when it happens, but we take it for granted and then when it doesn't happen, you understand why it's so necessary. So uh, that's that. So listen to me being all philosophical about rain. She works hard for the money. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. Um, yeah, I understand. Very hardworking young lady. Good for her. You know what? Somebody said to me, I think it was Everett on Twitter, you definitely work hard. And I recalled, I made brownies yesterday. I recall a CEO I used to work for, and she told me, "You're such a hard worker," and I thought that was a good thing. I said, "Thank you." She said, "No, that's a bad thing." You know, people who work hard don't get anywhere, and they don't really help anything. This is a CEO, my boss telling me this. You need to work smart, not hard. Don't work hard. Working hard is a myth. You need to work smart. I still have not learned that lesson. I don't know how to work smart. I don't consider myself a stupid person. I'm not like the smartest guy around, but went through many careers and got to retirement age, still never figuring out how to work smart. I know how to work hard. I don't know how to work smart in anything I ever do. Everything, even this can be done better, can be done more efficiently with less energy wasted. Um, that's my soapbox thing about working hard. It's something I never learned. So I'm not preaching what other people should do something. Um, I'm just saying that I found out that it's not necessarily desirable, and I do kind of get the message. Working hard is not as productive as working smart, but they don't tell you how to work smart. A couple of nights ago, on Tuesday night, after hearing the news, the depressing news of the day, which I'm trying not to talk about, I had an equally uh, depressing show lined up. A Degree in Homelessness by Gren Dunsweller. It's a book that he's a filmmaker and author, um, video coach, and his focus is on homelessness, the subject of homelessness. We're trying to keep it on homelessness. His take on that, and it's called A Degree in Homelessness. And it's about how so many of us, college educated people, can end up homeless. Now he's in California, where Michael Schellenberger is running for governor, and a big part of his platform is how he would deal with the homeless. And Michael Schellenberger, again, politician running for governor, I believe he's a Republican, or he might be a libertarian. He's running for governor out there in California, and his platform is based on dealing with the homeless. But his contention is that almost all of homelessness comes from drug addicts, from being a drug addict or a chronic drug user, uh, and that's basically the root cause of the problem, and that everybody on the street is an addict, or almost everybody, close to everybody on the street who's living on the street or living out of their car or living in a tent, or a box, is a drug addict, and I just flat out reject that because I've known many homeless people. I deal with them all the time, and with that, it always sounds like virtue signaling. So I try to uh, not give all the details on that. But as people who listen to this program know, I've had homeless people live in this house. I consider myself far more a drug addict than any of those homeless people who lived in this house. And when I say drug addict, in my case, coffee, caffeine is a drug I'm addicted to, and marijuana, I guess. If you can be addicted to it, obviously not physically addicted to it, uh, but I have used it for most of my life, with a couple of periods off for bad behavior. Um, but that's it for me. I'm not like a cokehead or anything. But again, point I'm making is I consider myself more of an addict than any of those people who lived in this. They were not drug users, none of them. And we've had many homeless people under this roof. So I think that contention that everybody on the street is a drug addict, no. And also, um, the amount of rich people, and not just people who are living in homes, who are uh, real drug addicts using cocaine every day of the week. That would astound people. I don't think drugs are the issue. Now, I'm not saying drugs are a good thing or bad thing. I'm not going on that. But I think the idea that drugs are the root cause of homelessness, and if we clean up drugs, there'll be no more homelessness. That's bullshit. Now, Glenn's uh, contention is a lot of it has to do with education, because and there are a lot of factors to go into it. A lot of it is veterans who are not being cared for. A lot of it is people who are mentally ill who don't have a place to go. There are no homes that take care of people who are mentally unfit to contribute to society. We closed those down as a matter of convenience because we didn't want to pay for it anymore. Well, we're paying for it with people on the street. So there's that. There's a lot of it, but a lot of it, according to Glenn, is people who got degrees, went to college believing they were going to get a degree that could help them work, and found out they could not earn a living wage, and so or weren't educated in capitalism to the point where they can make it work for themselves. Now he's not an anti-capitalist, but he is pro entrepreneur, and for educating people on the street how to find opportunities, create opportunities, monetize opportunities in a way that will be fulfilling and help them get off the street and live not the American dream, but live in, at least in an apartment, live, not on the street, not in your car, not in a tent, not in a box. Would you live there in a box? Would you live there with a fox? Would you live with monkeypox? You can all just suck. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Um, I get carried away sometimes. So, uh, I don't know what the solutions are to it, but Glenn seems to think, and he wrote a book on it, not just think, that teaching entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurial mindset to people who are homeless would go a long way in solving the problem. But you still have to deal with the people who are there just because they are society's outcast. They're mentally ill, and we don't provide any health care to deal with that anymore at all. We PTSD people, vets who would rather live on the street than live in a shelter. We have so much of that. I don't know what the answer to that is. An equally depressing conversation, but it wasn't as depressing as not equally. It was also a depressing conversation, but not nearly as depressing as the news of the day. So a welcome break from that. And, again, I don't even like getting even referencing it because it makes me think about it. It's just a really really bad situation. Is the Johnny Depp thing over? I'm hoping it's over. People getting too wrapped up in this shit, man. There are people I never uh, realized. just how invested a good portion of America, and maybe even the world, is in the personal lives of celebrities. But man, oh man, that trial has got people like it's their family, caring about outcomes, and I'm with Johnny, I'm with Amber, and and wow. Really, folks? I mean, the phrase "get a life" is an overused phrase, but I think it applies. I think it definitely applies. I'm gonna taste this brownie. I made brownies, not half brownies, just brownies yesterday. It's second time in wow, or is it third time? No, second time in 2 weeks, and I never made them before until last week. That was the first time I made them. This batch turned out pretty good, though. Damn good brownie. Goes good with cold coffee. Oh, wait a second. You know what? Cold coffee is the best coffee in the world. I know you like to hear me chew. Shouldn't be eating while you're broadcasting. This is a golden rule, but I break the fucking rules. Are you happy I'm back? No, you don't care. Okay. Oh, cold coffee, man. I tell you right now, if you're not drinking cold coffee, you're not drinking coffee. That's just the way it is. Yeah, you got that Brazilian crap that you drink. You know, if you're in Brazil, that is, or you're in the UK, actually, and just making believe you're in Brazil. Whatever the situation is, if you're drinking that Brazilian coffee, you're not drinking coffee. The only coffee you should be drinking is cold coffee. I'm going to play that spot right now. I'll be back. Really, it's a little early to play the spot, but I'm going to do it right now because expecting Kiara in a moment, in 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, I got to drink some more so I can get a fresh cup. Oh, cold coffee. I call it like an orgasm in a cup. That's what I call it. You've heard me call it that before, right? No. I just made it up. Um, cold coffee is the best coffee in the world. Now, I know the ad I'm about to play you says top 10 coffee, one of the top 10 coffees in the world. They're not me. It's Forbes magazine. Now, who are you going to believe? You're going to believe Forbes magazine, or you're going to believe the dog? Nobody knows coffee better than me. I'm like the Donald Trump of coffee. No, nobody knows coffee better than me. That's not my Donald Trump impersonation by you, but just paraphrasing his attitude towards life. Nobody, it's true. Nobody on this planet knows coffee better than me. Not from the consumer standpoint. I'm sure there are people growing it. Joe Andrews. Oh, happy birthday, Joe Andrews. I have to go wish him a happy birthday. Come to think of it, thanks for reminding me, folks. Joe Andrews, birthday today. He knows coffee better than me. Let's say happy birthday to Joe. Oh, and it's Lori's birthday too. Lori, one of the biggest fans of the man. Happy birthday, Joe. See, that's what it takes me to type. Happy birthday, Joe. And I gotta say happy birthday to Lori while I'm here too. Facebook makes you do this. You can't get away with not wishing somebody a happy birthday. If you do, you're a cad. Anyway, Joe Andrews knows coffee better than me. From the technical side, from the producer side, he knows it. But from the consumer perspective, from somebody who actually drinks coffee, nobody knows coffee better than me. And I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, cold coffee is simply the best coffee in the world. You don't believe me, so you should try it and see. Once you try it, you'll be hooked, and you won't drink any other coffee ever. This is a guarantee you get straight from me, DOG dog. Ah, it's like orgasm in a cup. I'm telling you. I have to go change my underwear. It's so good. It is so good. So please sit through the commercial. I will be right back. This episode is brought to you by Koa Coffee. If you are a coffee connoisseur and want to experience the best coffee Hawaii has to offer, No blends, no compromise. Try the true taste of Aloha. Koa Coffee produces premium Hawaiian coffee, hand-picked, expertly roasted, and delivered from Hawaii to your door with Aloha. From award-winning 100% Kona coffee grown on the slopes of the Mauna Loa volcano to the unique mocha beans of Maui, they strive to provide their loyal customers with the best quality and freshness. Since 1997, Koa Coffee has been known far and wide as a product of utmost quality, and their awards prove it. Koa Coffee was featured in Forbes' Top 10 Coffees of the World. This is the coffee Forbes called the best coffee in America. Find out what it's all about. Go to minddogtv.com/coffee. Yeah. Coffee is the best coffee in the world. According to the dog, that's me. Oh, lordy. I got plans for Memorial Day weekend, big plans. The Blue Angels flying over Jones Beach here. Everybody goes out to watch these military jets fly over. That's the big thing on Long Island to do, is go to Jones Beach and wait for the Blue Angels. Now, where I used to live, they used to practice over my house all the time. And I still, to this day, I don't get the big whoop. And I do think, I hate to, no, I'm not. You're setting yourself up for a world-class disaster on films at some point. Few million people along the beaches of Long Island, and these jets coming by in tight formation doing a very low altitude fly over these millions of people. And it goes on every year, year in, year out. Memorial Day weekend and 4th of July. And sooner or later, something will go wrong. I'm not wishing it, but the odds are that's the way it works. And if something goes wrong flying in tight formation over millions and millions of people, film at 11, not going to be good. It's going to be horrific. And I don't get the big whoop anyway. Woo, that's basically what it is. You get a quick jerk of your neck, you get whiplash. Yeah, oh, that was great. Yeah, no, that made my week, and that was worth sitting in traffic for in the hot sun, cursing everybody out to get here, find my spot on the beach so I could go, wow, yay. Oh, it's over. So that's the big thing they do here on Long Island, which I've never taken part in. I don't know. I don't get people sometimes. What they get turned on by. What makes life fun. I just like doing it. So that's what's going to be happening here on Long Island. I should invite Joe to come on the program if he would like. Joe, you up? You now Andy posted or tweeted something about it. I think his cat finally passed. Kind of sad. I've been there, and we've all been there. Pet, you lose a pet, it's devastating. It's like losing a family member. Uh, but I first of all express my condolences with him to him, and then relate a story that might sound like a downer, and I don't mean to be a downer here. It's but on the day my son passed, a lot of people were aware of it, and a woman who was a fan of the band. I don't want to call her my friend because she's not my friend. She's fucking batshit crazy. She's a nice lady, but she's batshit crazy. She had my number from the website, and she called me up, and she said, I just want to tell you how sorry I am. I know exactly what you're going through. My cat died 15 years ago. My son died 5 hours ago. You know exactly what I'm going through because your cat died 15 years ago. Well, I like, humor as much as but she was dead serious. I like dark humor as much as, anybody, but she's dead serious about that, and just baffling. That's the best attempt to console a person. Don't pick up the fucking phone. Just let them be. Uh, Needless to say, but at that point, it was still in shock, so, uh and yeah, no, it's not this. Not only not the same, it's not in the same universe. I mean, I love pets as much as anybody, but and not that. Oh, woe is me. There is no pain worse than losing a child. There is no pain worse than losing a child, and but in that moment, within hours, to compare that to a cat who passed 15 years ago. Um, the sad thing is she never had any children. That's not necessarily a sad thing. People, a lot of my friends who've never had any children have lived the happiest lives of anybody I know. Um, Maybe there's some connection there. I don't know, but so that cat was like a child to her, and I get that. I get that. That's people go. There's pet cemeteries, and we've had so many cats pass here because my wife is a cat lady. And when I first met her, she had 5 cats who are have all of them have passed, but 5 cats living in the house, and we had to bury all those 5 cats. But we had feral cats because the lady across the street is quite a ways away here. Um, she feeds feral cats and has a yard right now. She probably has 40 feral cats living in her yard that she feeds every day. And what my wife does, because she's crazy, and not crazy, she's a humanitarian, but goes out of her way to be helpful on this stuff at great cost to me financially. My wife traps them and gets them fixed whenever we can, but you can't keep up with them. Can't keep up with them. So when I moved here, when I first met my wife, we had 5 cats living in the house, but probably 15 to 20 living in the yard, feral cats that my wife fed, but these were ones that we had fixed, taken to the vet and neutered, ears clipped and all that, so they were marked. But feeding them, those all passed too. So we buried lots and lots of cats here. Now, currently, we have 2 cats in the house. So I understand completely how a cat passing can feel like a child passing to somebody. I'm not belittling that, but just the trying to compare uh, that experience is it's kind of silly to me. And anytime somebody has a pet and they're devastated, I'm reminded of, well, um, I'm dev- I feel your pain. I understand, and sorry for your loss. And then I have to relay the story about a woman calling me up and saying, "I know, I'm so sorry. I know exactly what you're going through. My cat died 15 years ago," and my jaw just hung open. Like, are you actually comparing my son dying 5 hours ago to your cat dying 15 years ago? It still makes me laugh. Just how it's something I might be. I'm so socially awkward that that's something I might say, trying to be comforting, but it's so fucking ridiculous. It's off the charts stupid. Anyway, I'm waiting on Kiara. She's probably sleeping it off. She had a day off yesterday too. Problem is when you take a day off with stuff, you get into a zone where you do this every day, and you get used to doing it, and then you take a day off, and it's like you never did it. It's like you lose your rhythm, your stride completely. So it's not surprising to me that she's a little late this morning. Probably not even awake yet. I will bet anything on that. Um, Doing comedy in times like these, a time like this, got to be really difficult. But I did hear some people, and I've read some jokes, and I've seen some clips of people making jokes about the stuff that went on, and funny stuff, funny stuff. But it's a fine line between the Gilbert Gottfried stuff, and it's an age-old question. Too soon? Too soon? How long do you wait? And I know there are people say you can never make jokes about a tragedy. As the human condition, you wouldn't to that family. Again, it's like comparing. I know exactly what you're going to do. My cat died 15 years ago. Um, you don't make jokes to the family, and of course, no matter if you're in the public forum, they're going to hear it. So there's that part of it. Oh, it's so in bad taste. But humor is the way we survive these things, and so with that said, I'm not a big believer in saying, well, it's too soon, you can't joke about that. I think all jokes about tragedy are an attempt to deal with it and numb our own pain. So I'm not judgmental against comedians that if they are tempted to go there and joke about a tragedy, I'm not going to be judgmental about it the way some people are. Ricky Gervais is under fire for um, what people are saying are hurtful, transphobic, blah 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 comments, and people are saying he was never funny and blah blah blah. And now, I'm not a huge Ricky Gervais fan. I know who he is, and I don't watch the award shows, but I'm aware of his performances on the award shows where people were saying he was the greatest host. He should host every award show. Now, some people now, all of a sudden, he says something that was clearly joking. It's just jokes, folks. And the trans community is angry at him, and they want me to be angry at him. I have to share your anger. Whoever you get angry at, it's my responsibility to join you in your anger and hatred of that person. No, I refuse. You can tell me um, that you were offended by it. You know what I would say? Change the channel. A lot of people go to those specials, go to a Ricky Gervais special on Netflix, looking for what's he going to say that I can get offended by, so I can tweet my outrage or post it on Facebook how outraged I am by it. And the agenda is to make you and I equally offended by it. I refuse to join in your anger and your hatred of comedians or anybody you want me to be on your side about. I am not going to be again. I'm not a fan. I don't. I don't have time to watch every comedy special out there and be a fan of every comedian out there. So I don't know. I don't know how talented or not talented Ricky Gervais is. I don't know how funny he is. He's not in my list of people I follow. But I'm certainly not gonna hate on him because you want me to hate on him. And here's the other part of that. People like me would never know about the things you're offended by if you didn't point them out. In other words, we wouldn't be watching. I haven't, but I was tempted to just to say, "What the fuck are you so outraged by?" Almost watch the special you don't want me to watch. I almost watched it because you told me how terrible it is. I did not watch it. but definitely I guarantee you it will get more eyes, more views, more listens because you're outraged about it than if you just let it go and change the fucking channel. I'm gonna get off of that because Kiara's awake now. Well, I shouldn't say she's awake. She's in front of a camera, sitting backstage. She's probably not awake, but it's time to try to get a little more happy. Let's see if we can do that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you enjoy your day off yesterday?
I overslept.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I overslept and then woke up and had to race and do a million things. So
my take on that is you need it. You needed extra sleep, and I think this stuff, while I enjoy doing the morning stuff, it definitely has messed up my sleep cycle, and I'm just not a normal morning person to begin with. So I definitely needed to sleep a little more yesterday, and I think that's probably what happened with you. And it's probably not a bad thing, even though you might not have gotten as much done as you wanted to yesterday. Do you feel refreshed by having slept a little more?
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about what's going on in the world, but are you dealing with it okay? All the bad news, or you just tune out all bad news?
I hear some of it, but I pray about it. You know.
Yeah. Does that work?
It gives me a certain sense of peace that
you know what?
can't give
If
myself.
If it gives you peace, God bless you. I mean, really, a lot of people are down on faith and down on religion, and I question everything. But a lot of people are down on it and very negative about it. I say if it makes you feel better, helps you get through the day, back off. Let people have that peace that it brings them. And don't be judgmental about it. But I did do the little bit of a question at everything piece. You want to see it?
I'm scared. Okay, go ahead.
Question everything.
Yeah, I got questions. How about that? No?
That made me laugh. That's funny.
So you think you sing in the key of A. That's not in the key of A.
What key is that? I just made it up.
A flat minor.
Wow, that's off key then.
No, it was perfectly in key in A flat minor. You sang it, but that not all of them. I didn't analyze all of them, but that one was naturally in A. Because you didn't hit a note and then sing, right? You just sang it from whatever you heard in your head. But that's an A flat minor. So that I'm not saying that's necessarily your natural key. If you sang Happy Birthday, it might be in A. You never know. Or like Mikey, I know Mikey's is in C for songs like that. But so you never know. It depends on the song you're singing. But that one is definitely A flat minor. Anyway, there was a time when Mikey was asked to sing the Star Spangled Banner before the opening game of Little League in Copiague.
Oh my gosh.
We were backstage, and I was telling him, you can't start it this high, man. You can't start it high. You got to start low. And I just kept going. And here's where it is. And I was practicing. No, you have to start low, because by the time you get to that land of the three, you're going to be all the way up here, and you're going to be cracking. So say, start it there, like a baritone opera singer. Oh, say, good.
Right.
Went over and over and over, got out, and the people marched, and the stadium's filling up. People everywhere go up, and the first note, I was like, oh no, dude, you're never gonna make it there. And sure enough, like, he didn't even get close to that part of the song before he started cracking up, and it was clear he wasn't gonna make it.
He finished the song though, right?
He did, but he cracked up like big time. His voice was cracking hard, and it was comically bad by the time he got to Land of the Free. It was painful. It was hard to listen to. But I think he learned his lesson, and that's why when we do Happy Birthday, he always waits for me to give him his note, because a lot of times he'll just start it in a weird key and doesn't realize even Happy Birthday can get too high if you start it too high.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's I haven't sung the Star Spangled Banner for any event yet, so.
Looks like the weekend's clearing up.
Yeah. Well, we don't sing the Star Spangled Banner before we sing at Venetian. I mean, we could, but
I don't think the Venetian gig's going to happen though tomorrow. Unfortunately,
I think it will. It says 40% chance of rain. It's
40%.
Mostly in the morning, I think. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Please. Oh, you're guessing. I thought you knew something. I thought you had inside info.
On my app, it only goes up to like 3 a.m. Friday morning, so it says like 3 a.m. rain. So
I made brownies yesterday.
Pot brownies?
No.
Oh, just regular brownies?
Yeah, a second time in a week and second time in my life I ever made brownies.
Wow. What's going on with you?
Well, I had a day off yesterday.
Oh, so you're a chef. You like to cook and bake in your day off.
No, I have a sweets. I'm like Mikey with that. Like, I love sweets. I love cake. I love cookies. I love brownies. But lately, I'm being kind of frugal on things, and I'm thinking, you know what? To buy a box of donuts is going to be $8. The brownie mix is $2.19.
Right.
I think I'll make my own.
Right. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm Mr. Frugal. I was never that way in my life, but I guess now that I'm an old person living on a fixed income.
Oh.
Not really.
No.
I played two gigs yesterday.
Wow. Where?
VA and the VA nursing home, outdoors, because
Okay.
they are on high alert for COVID. I don't know if it's phase 1, sector 1, whatever it is. They're nobody in the building, so playing outdoors, which was nice. It was a beautiful day out, sun shining, no humidity.
Right.
And the first place I played was it was all guys, all old men from different branches of the service. About 40 of them, Marine Corps, Army, Navy, all sitting together. And I thought that was remarkable, because generally they fight, they argue, and like they got them all living together. I was like, that's got to be all these cranky old men from different branches of the service. It's got to be like a constant arguing about Navy, bunch of pussies,
right,
Marines, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
One guy's showing. I started playing, and one guy just doing this. Old man in a wheelchair,
fist pumping. Yeah.
It was funny until he pulled his wheelchair right up behind me and started punching me in the back while I'm trying to sing.
Was he trying to throw you out?
I looked at the aide that was there, and I said, "What am I supposed to do?" He said, "He's showing you like a pet owner who's explaining why his dog is humping your leg." He said, he's showing you he likes you. He's showing you his appreciation. Like, oh, tell him not to like me so much, because it's really hard to sing. And
wow.
Yeah.
No.
And then another old man, a Marine Corps guy, who was loving it up until the point I played Elton John, Your Song.
Then what?
Then he started yelling queer at me. Queer, you're fucking queer.
He did?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
At the top of his lungs, and nobody was stopping him. I guess when you reach that point, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
I think so. Yeah, I think you get a free pass. That's funny. Wow.
So I got a comedian from Austin, Texas coming on today, a lady comedian, which we don't have a lot of on this program, and there aren't, they're outnumbered, so really. But in Austin, Texas, I'm looking forward to that conversation because Austin is a mecca for comedians, and I'm thinking, because it's also a mecca for musicians. It's a small city that has entertainment 7 nights a week in so many places. I got to think they're overextending the audience. Like there can't be enough people to come out to support all these people, right? Because
Yeah.
all those shows going on at once. You have
Right.
hundreds of music acts, hundreds of comedy acts, and a smaller population to deal with. Like probably the size of the township of Babylon is what
Wow.
Austin is probably like.
Wow,
You
I
know,
didn't know that.
imagine like 100 comedy clubs and 100 music clubs in the township of Babylon.
Wow.
Like how many people could be in each one of them on a Monday night or a Tuesday night? You know,
I don't know.
I know we're gonna find out at 10 o'clock today. I'm
I know
interested.
when I lived in Florida and the weather was nice all the time, we were always out. And we were always going to live music events. And I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
live
it's just,
music. Yeah, Florida is different. It is outdoor venues and stuff like that. A lot of street cafes. So even touristy too. But Austin is not necessarily touristy. It's like in South Texas, so it's not like they're getting a whole. Not like Florida. Anyway, so we'll talk to her at 10 a.m. Did you bring some happy news, something to take my mind off of tragedy and terrible stuff?
wow. Yeah, I recycled because I was going to use these yesterday.
Oh, cool. Because,
yes.
yeah, we had to put happy on hold for a day.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's sweet, I guess. It's from goodnewsnetwork.org. And this homesick Londoner and restaurant owner decided to ditch the employment of culinary school graduates and start hiring that almost mythical allegory of culinary folklore, the Italian grandmother. So this man here, he's from Sicily. He missed his mother's Sicilian cooking and started. Yeah, go ahead, sing that.
I can't do it. I don't know any of those words. And oddly, Mikey doesn't either, but he sings it all the time.
I thought he knows Italian.
You listen to the words he's saying. Like not when he says, "Does anybody here know the Italian language?" He doesn't. He doesn't know any of it. He's trying to phonetically copy what he kind of remembers, but no, he's way off.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, yeah. He's singing pizza and mozzarella, whatever the hell he's singing in there. It's not right.
He could have fooled me. I think one person came up to me and said, "Is that real Italian?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's real Italian."
No, Italian people call him on it all the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I wish I knew. I could speak Italian.
That's a good idea. Hire your Italian grandmother to be your chef in an Italian restaurant. That's definitely a good idea. If my mother was Irish, not Italian, but she was married to an Italian guy and learned to cook Italian, but at least from my perspective, Italian food she cooked very well.
Wow.
Better than my father loved German and Irish food, though.
But what is Irish food? Just potatoes. What else is there?
Corned beef and cabbage and that kind of stuff.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Well,
there's nothing else.
There's other Irish dishes. I don't remember what they are. Like shepherd's pie, which is English, but Irish people make that too. Yorkshire pudding and all that kind of stuff.
I make fun of Matt all the time. I say, what do you guys have? You have potatoes, meat and potatoes.
Is he full blood Irish or?
No, he's Irish and German and.
German has sauerbraten. You yeah, I know it's the worst. My father loved that. My mom used to make it. I'd be like, kill me. I'll starve.
No, I don't like anything meat packed into a, piece of whatever.
So this is something you can definitely relate to.
Okay.
My cousin Joey, who was older than me, probably 12 to 15 years older than me, he's passed. Oh. But his daughter found me on Facebook, and I never met her. And she said, my cousin, my father was your cousin Joey, and I'm trying to research my family heritage on my Italian side. And do you know like grandmother's name and grandfather's grandmother's maiden name and grandfather's name and all this stuff and all the family history? And my cousin Joey had a younger brother, Louis, who was closer to my age, who I hung out with as a kid. And I brought him up. I said, is Louis still alive? Louis Jr. still alive? And she said, I heard about him once at my father's funeral. Somebody brought him up at my father's funeral. But she had won her whole life. Her father has kids who he never told about his younger brother.
Oh,
That's
wow.
kind of like your family in some way. But I can't imagine going through your whole life and not telling your kids about you. And this is a blood brother, not full blood brother, not half brother, not, no
Wow.
segmented family type of thing. Not telling anybody about his younger brother, not telling his family about his younger brother. That
Wow.
weird?
Yeah. I'd
I
say
think
it's
so.
100% weird. And my whole family's like that. They don't want to talk to each other. And it's frustrating. I did invite everyone to the party on Sunday, just everybody. I was like, well, hey, send out all
There's
these
not going to be a
invitations.
war there, right?
No, they're not going to show up. I
they
just
don't
kind of
show up.
try and kill them with kindness, right? You're invited, but.
And what do you want me to do? You want me to like perform? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Mikey's not going to be there. It's just going to be
Mikey
me.
canceled on me, and I was upset at him
I am
because
too.
we do a lot. We do a lot for him. We do his pro bono parties and
right. And everybody in your family is talented and can sing, and there I am. I'm going to go up and I'm going to be all by myself, and they're going to be like, everybody in the room is going to be a better singer than me, and probably half of them are going to be a better guitar player than me.
Stop it!
It's true though.
I know that my uncle Ralphie's going to get up there and harass you because he wants to sing. He wants to steal the spotlight. My father's going to harass you for the spotlight. My Aunt Marianne's gonna harass you for this. All my father's.
They don't have to harass me. They can. I'm gladly give it up, but I'm gonna be intimidated knowing they can all sing much better than me and play better than me and whatever.
Oh, stop!
That's what. And Mikey's bailing on me, so I feel like he's not only letting you down, he's letting me down and leaving me in a room full of sharks by myself.
We're counting on you.
Guppy like me. I'll be there. What time am I supposed to be there? What's going on?
So it's like 3:30 to 7. I don't know. You could play some whatever you want, and then, if you need a break or whatever, we could do the DJ thing.
And I'm bringing my little PA system deal.
Yeah, you could hook up a phone to it too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, speaking of which,
you got your Bluetooth thing.
No, I got the amp. I got the drum set that I didn't know I needed an amp for. I got the amp. I didn't know I needed a wire. Got the right wire. Then I said I wanted something that I could hook up my phone to the amp. Got one wire, was $100. Didn't work. Can't send it back. Then I got the.
Can't send it back.
No, I can't send it back.
Amazon? You got from Amazon?
Yeah.
You can send anything back to Amazon.
I'm gonna try my hardest, but
I'll call Bezos for you personally. Let me call him right now.
I hate giving him money.
Go with your story. I'm calling Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, tell him to give me $1 million. No, I hate giving him money. I'd rather shop local, but the problem is when you shop local, everything's 10 times more expensive. So sorry guys. But then I got another wire and it only plays the drum parts of songs. You can't hear the vocals. I don't know. So that's it. I give up.
Wait, you have MP3s that have the full song, like a karaoke version of the song in it, but you're only getting the drum track?
No, I like to play drums along to songs. So I just, my dad gave me a speaker a long time ago. I would hook up the wire to the phone and play Pandora, just play random classic rock songs, full songs, not karaoke songs, and play along. Now it's just drums and you can't hear anything else. I don't know. I give up on this amp. I give up on this cord. I give up on all that. I don't know.
I'll take a look at it when I come there Sunday. I think something.
I'm not bringing my drum set and my amp, right?
Oh, no. No.
I can't.
What do you mean?
I have to bring like 5 dozen balloons and cake.
Oh, it's not at your house? It's at a VFW or something?
You don't know where it is?
No. You didn't give me any directions.
I sent you a visual invitation. Men, oh my goodness.
You did?
Wow. All right, no.
No, you told me about it like 2 months ago or something, but I don't remember ever getting this.
I live in an 855 square foot brick and I have a party trying to host 45 people. We would not fit here.
Oh, do they have a hall in the apartment complex where you are, like a party place?
No, my dad does, and I asked him. He didn't answer me because he lives in a 55 and older community, and they had told him a while ago that the hall was only for their parties, not for families. This is where dementia starts.
No, this is where dementia ends.
Yeah.
Dementia started way down the road. But no, I might have just ignored it because when I get those things, especially in Messenger, it doesn't open up right.
So you were just gonna drive to my house?
No, I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask you tomorrow night on the gig where am I going on Sunday? That was my plan.
Seaford.
Seaford, that's not bad.
I'm gonna feed you well. It's supposed to be good food. So.
All right, that's cool.
What was I gonna say? Yeah.
Your wire and your drum set and stuff. No, I thought we were doing it at your house so I could come and help with that, but that's fine. I still think
I live in a small apartment. No, I live, very tiny here. Very, very claustrophobic. I do like the community though. I'm gonna miss my neighbors when we move because there's nothing like it. Oh.
No. You hear that? Wow.
Yeah. Who is that? Hello?
That's
Welcome
not me.
Show. Oh.
Hello there? Hello? Is this you trying to sell me an extended warranty? You're not there. You're going to hang up on me? You hung up on me. They hung up on me. They didn't talk to me.
Dare they?
To be a sales thing or... It's definitely nothing else. It's not a scammer because scammers would talk to you. You know what it is? They dial so many numbers waiting for people to pick up, and then they don't have enough people to deal with the people who picked up, so they end up.
They're all robots now. You know what I can't stand is the people who walk around trying to sell you Verizon and everything like that. It's like a commercial in real life. I want to punch them, and it's always at dinner time. I have dinner on the table, and then I get a knock at the door. It's 7 o'clock, 7:30. I usually
they come door to door. No, I would.
Oh my gosh!
Not my neighborhood.
And then they're all friendly. Hi, we'd like to talk to you about switching over, and I just say, get out of here.
Wow.
Right. So then the other night they knocked, and I said, Matt, you handle this because I can't stand them. And he opens the door and he listens to them for 15 minutes, and he knows he's going to tell them to leave. Why listen to them? Just skip it. Go away. Shoo. Go. Goodbye. So
all right. I'm sending Katie a reminder. Katie Felton, who's supposed to be here.
You cut me off again? All right. No, you don't like my rant?
I like your rant. Go ahead. I'm just while I'm listening to you, I'm typing because I'm a really terrible typist. But you know what? People in different time zones, this could be a problem. She's in Texas, right? And that's only an hour away, but
so it's 8:30 there, or no? What time is it? 10. It's 9 o'clock there.
It's 9 o'clock there. But you would think she'd be here. I would think she'd be here. I was excited about this. Oh, was that you? No, that was me. That was somebody. My computer decided it wanted to reboot this morning, so I may be a few minutes late. That's fine.
Okay. Oh, that was a quick reply.
I know.
Cool.
Well, obviously she's on a computer now, right? Because she got that message.
Well, I could let you go and prepare, and I'll start my slow jog on the treadmill and try not to keel over.
All right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to talk to Carl in the chat room. He's in the chat room. I want to find out about his schedule because there's some confusion about Dykes and Man and the Last Rites podcast and what's going on with that. So I'll let you go for now. Come back later.
I'll come back hot and sweaty
and stuff. All right, I should let you out to question everything, but no, I won't. I'll do this. I don't know. That was kind of a happy minute there. Hiring Italian grandmother to be the chef in the restaurant. That doesn't sound anything remotely Italian. Yeah, you could say naked call. Now, get us straight on your schedule today. Um, because I was under the impression Dykes and Man was today at 1 p.m. Now, has it been moved to Friday? And is there a last rites today? And if so, what time? You can't just bounce schedules around and then take days off like I did yesterday and just screw up everybody's schedule. Sounds like the Clarity might have to jump in. Oh, jump in of it's another no show. No, the Carity, Carlty sounds like Carlty. I get it. This is like some English way of saying a nickname. No, you're welcome to pop in if you want, but we need to know about your schedule. Roll willy nilly up in here, right? That. Thank you, Kat. You express that in the proper way. We need to get straight on your schedule, your podcasting broadcast schedule, um, to know. You expect people to watch. You got to let them know where it's going to be, right? Uh, what do we got here? I guess it's about Ricky Gervais. I enjoy the scripted show, but his stand-up is kind of weak. But they do seem to be hating on him hard this week. Yeah, well, and I don't mind. They're free to hate on him. And I don't have any problem with people saying that comedian pissed me off. Well, you should have. You don't have to watch him. But I do have a problem when they try to recruit me and think, well, now I have to hate him. I don't even know him. And it really bothers me when people I want you to hate who I hate. And if it's a comedian, it's a politician, it's a musician, whatever it is, I think uh, I think you should hate who I hate. It bothers the hell out of me. No, I refuse to hate who you tell me to hate. I'm not naturally a fan of. Again, there's no way any one of us could be watching every single minute of every comedy special that comes out because we live in a time where there's probably 1 billion hours of comedy specials available to us right now. So I can't know everybody and I can't care about everybody and I can't follow everybody. So the only time I know about who you're offended by is when you bring it up. And then if you're not going to actually quote them in context, guess what? I have to go watch what you're telling me not to watch in order to figure out what the hell it is you're so outraged by, if I'm so inclined. But I'm not so inclined. I'm not joining you in your hate. Anyway, um, I think the whole idea of trying to recruit people into your dislike of whatever comedian rubbed you the wrong way, just change the channel. Don't go to their shows if they piss you off, but don't tell me I can't, and don't tell me I can't laugh at their humor and all that stuff. Katie Felton is a comedian in the Mecca of comedy, the world central capital of comedy, Austin, Texas. And I'm going to meet her right now for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your ears, open your minds, and help me welcome in Katie Felton from Austin, Texas. Katie, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure to have you. I was not expecting that voice. I like it. It definitely works for comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? If it kind of feels like I'm punching down on you there, believe me, I'm not. My voice is kind of weird too.
Yeah, no. This is not the first time and will not be the last time I
Oh,
hear
I'm
that
loving it
comment.
with every word you say. I'm loving it even more. Um, so I was talking about this morning, Austin, Texas. Now,
Yeah,
so, and even it plays into what I was just talking about how many comedy specials are out there. But in Austin, Texas, Austin's a relatively small city when we talk about cities in America. We got New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Chicago, nice big cities, San Francisco. Austin's not that big a town, right?
correct. Yeah,
Right.
it's mostly like a college town. I put that kind of in air quotes because the college is like a big part of it. And then the city, I don't know if the city kind of grew around the college or what, but yeah, not overly big. We don't have a great public transit system.
Right. So now, with every comedian from Los Angeles to New York and Nashville, Tennessee, and other places coming there as if it is like the place, the new gold rush is in Austin, Texas. And prior to the comedians coming there, you have all the musicians who have been coming there since the early 90s. There's
Hmm.
an awful lot of entertainment for a very small city and a small potential audience, right?
Correct. Yes. Um, and they take advantage. So every bar on the strip of row of bars that we so lovingly call Dirty Sixth Street, they have live music going. Now that's like boosting to comedy as well. Comedy nights, open mic nights. A lot of the breweries now have a comedy show in them. So the the audience is hungry, but yeah, it's everywhere. It's
So,
saturated.
now I'm trying to wrap my mind around this because went to South by Southwest in I think it was probably '95, and it seemed like there's not enough people here to support all the musicians who are coming here to get famous or make a mark for themselves. Now with guys like Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe and all these bigger name comedians coming into town, does that make it even harder for those people who went to Austin thinking this is the place where I'm going to make it in comedy?
Um, Good question. I feel like we haven't fully discovered that yet since Rogan's Club hasn't been opened, and that will be a way to get paid for comedy in a much bigger, better way.
Right.
But as far as just everybody coming here thinking they're gonna get famous, yeah, it's a lot of some select few good ones, a lot of mediocre ones, and a lot of bad ones. So,
Right. How long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
I've been doing it 3 years, including the pandemic, and I've been in Austin for 7 years.
Wow. And where were you from before Austin?
I'm from Orange County, California, and I moved to Austin from New York City, where I lived for 2 years.
Oh, New York City. What were you doing? Now that's an different story because most people are comedians before they go there. You took up stand-up comedy after you got there. What were you doing in New York City?
I was trying to become a big advertising executive, but it never worked out.
Yeah, I've been in that game myself. That game, that you talk about oversaturated.
Hmm.
Everybody in New York is in marketing and advertising and stuff. We don't make anything here. We just
Yeah.
advertise and sell stuff. So that's it. I have your Facebook link going across.
Oh,
Is there some
awesome.
any other place like a website or Twitter or anything else that you're on that you want to let people know about?
I promote a lot on Instagram, and my Instagram name is K, the number 8E Felts, Felts.
Wow. And we will put those links in the description for people. What is this? A call saying career number 1340. I've had a lot of careers. Yes, that's true.
I love it.
Um, so describe, well, first of all, you got into it 3 years ago. That's right around when the pandemic was taking off. Was it before COVID or just right at,
It was 1 year before
oh,
COVID.
a full year?
I
Okay.
was, yeah, I was turning 30 and had always had an interest in comedy, but like growing up, I was never the funniest person in my friend group. Like I always uh, surrounded myself with really funny people, so we would like have fun and joke and make each other laugh. But I wouldn't say ever the funniest. And then just getting older and kind of spreading my wings, being on my own, uh, found that I was funny on my own as well. So coworkers would be like, "Oh, you should try comedy." And I was like, I mean, I would love to, but I don't know how to start. So, my 30th birthday was looming over me, and I was like, you know what? if I'm not gonna try it now, when? So I gifted myself some comedy classes and got into it that way.
All right, I'm going to come back to the start because this is always interesting to me. But you bring up something that I find very interesting because I think there's a bit of a myth here that people assume if somebody's in stand-up comedy, they were the life of the party, the funniest person in their social group. What I'm finding is some of the best comedians are naturally shy people. So in a group of their friends and or small social circles, oftentimes they're not the guy who's or woman who's making everybody laugh in a small circle. They're kind of quiet and reserved, and then you learn the craft of comedy, which is completely different than making your friends laugh. So you see, some of the best comedians in the world are not who you expect them to be off stage or in their social life. So I think that's a far more common than the person. Oh, you are the funniest one in the room. You should be in stand-up comedy, and then that person generally sucks, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a different art to craft a joke than it is, yeah, just to like make people laugh on the spot. I think they're different muscles.
Right.
And also, I find at least the comedians I like a lot are observers of life, so they kind of need to be more quiet, stand in the back, and just observe what's going on versus leading the energy.
Yeah, I get it. Now, your first experience, you say you went to classes. Did you go to classes before you even tried an open mic? I mean, is that how it started for you?
Yeah, I had some things that I had written as jokes before and was like, okay, I think these are funny, but I definitely needed some type of feedback situation, which I knew I probably wasn't going to get from an open mic. As far as like, I would go up and people would either be like, that was good or it sucked, but I needed a little bit more of like, what parts of my jokes did you like? What can I do better? So that's why I went the class route.
That's interesting that you say you didn't think you'd get that feedback. You get it, but you get it in a different form. It's not somebody who's saying, "Listen, this works and this doesn't work," and you get it in the form of laughter or boos or heckling or all that stuff. But you definitely get feedback.
Yeah,
But like, it's just how do you interpret that stuff?
right.
Um, So the classes now, so your very first time on stage, that was, I'm assuming, at like a graduation thing where they hold for the graduates of the class a one night where all of them are showcased together. Is that
Yeah,
how many
exactly. Yeah,
how many minutes?
just 5.
5.
Yeah.
And was that something that you had you crafted yourself? You know, you write the 5 minutes of material, and then somebody coaches you on delivery and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was we crafted all. The teacher would kind of give us writing tips, and then once we like ran through our jokes, any ways to trim fat or anything, but that was pretty much it. It was up to us to decide if we wanted to take that feedback or what we wanted to do with it and just
Interesting.
go out there.
I don't think knowing my personality, and I'm just wondering how this worked for you. I'd go sign up for something like that, and the minute somebody said, "No, I have a better way of doing it," I would get defensive, combative. I know I'm this way with music and everything. Well, I love the idea of collaboration, but anytime somebody doesn't love my idea, I get defensive about it. You can't if you're signing up for a class, you have to not have that attitude, right? So that probably won't
Yeah.
work for me.
Yes and no. I think everybody kind of feels a little bit like that, but also then in the class you have to remember like for the most part people are always not trying to hurt your feelings and just make
Yeah,
it better.
I get that, but I just for some reason I think the work I created is great.
Yeah. That's how I feel now. I've like reverted back where I usually don't tell people my jokes before I try them out just because I'm like, if they say they hate it, I still want to see what
Yeah.
audience thinks.
So who? And this is a question I ask a lot of comedians, and I hate people when I hate when people ask me this in interviews. But when you were a fan of comedy, thinking this is what I'd always want to do, who were the people that made you want to uh, be in comedy or give it a try?
Um, I loved Mitch Hedberg and Mike Birbiglia. I would listen to them a lot, doing like road trips and different stuff. SNL, always watched that and thought that would be like so fun to do. And then my dad is a big comedy fan, so growing up we would listen to like Craig Shoemaker and um, he would he's from LA, so he would tell me stories of like the Comedy Store in the 70s and who would come in and all that kind of fun stuff.
Oh yeah, Comedy Store in the '70s is a place of legends. It's kind of like the old West was when I was growing up. You don't know what to really believe because everybody has these fantastic stories about things that happen there, and some of them get exaggerated. But I have had the opportunity to cross-check them. You mentioned Hedberg, and he's one of the more because so many comedians mention him as an influence. He's one of the more influential comedians of the past 30 years or so. So many people were inspired by him, but the average person, if I could call up a friend and say, "Yeah, who's Mitch Hedberg?" and they wouldn't know who he is. But for comedians, he's kind of a very big influence and a very big star in the night sky of comedy. It's kind of a weird thing how you could be that good and that so many people will look up to you, but the common everyday people might not have heard of you, the workaday people, which is just weird.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel sad the longer he's been gone, the more the public has forgotten about him, but I discovered him through friends, so I was lucky in that way that we had
Oh,
like this common comedian that we all really liked.
right. What stylistically are you like him? Are you like shorter jokes? Are you a storyteller? What is your style of comedy?
I would say I'm kind of in the middle. It's jokes that are more personal about my life, but um have common themes like, you know, dating as a single lady and uh feeling insecure about my looks and being a little overweight, things like that. So,
Hmm.
but the
That,
goal would be to get to Mitch's level where, you know, I'm making comments on everyday things that you just haven't thought about in that kind of way before.
that's interesting. So I brought up your voice. Are you insecure about your voice, or because your voice is an asset in comedy? Right? Uh,
Yeah.
but is that one of the things that you're insecure about? Because I've dealt with that all my life, and uh, I've never liked my voice, and people comment on my voice. Wow, you got a great radio voice and all that. But I've always had this weird insecurity about it. Do you?
So it's funny you say that because in comedy, not so much, and I used to address it a lot more, and I've kind of gotten away from it because I don't, there was never a good joke that I loved that much about it.
Yeah.
But like in dating or just in everyday life, like I hate phone calls because without them seeing me, I feel like they just are so confused.
Yeah. It's out. Am I talking to a kid? Am I being set
Yeah,
up here? Is this a 14-year-old girl?
exactly.
Are you a fan of Erica Rhodes?
I don't think I'm familiar with her.
Oh, Erica Rhodes she's a headliner. She's a very popular comedian, but she has a very high voice, and makes fun of herself with that a lot.
Yeah.
But it's part of her, and it to be honest, it is part of her appeal because like with you, the first time you see her, you're not expecting it, and then that's the first thing that jumps out at you, and takes a while to appreciate it for a lot of people. But now I guess I'm getting conditioned to it. You mentioned dating and a young person. Are you still single?
I am, yeah.
dating life for young people today has got to be really confusing. I don't know. So, do you do online dating? Do you meet
I
people online?
Yes, so I go in waves of like trying it, being gung ho about it all, and then I'll find somebody that I'll hang out with for a few months, and then it ends, and then I'm like take a break for a few months. So it's this whole cycle of on off. I would like to meet somebody in person more, but even that's like awkward and weird.
It's so weird. I can't imagine what it's like being a young person. Because I know I'm sounding like a dinosaur here, but personal interaction, you can't. People are so friggin' phony online, right? You
Mhm.
can't really know a person, no matter how honest they are, when you're online and having that kind of interaction with them, and then you get together with them and you see their, you don't match your profile ever. I know I don't match my profile, and
Mhm.
we're making jokes about that the other day. So it's got to just be really difficult. And I always I call dating trying people on. It's like you're going to the store and like a department store and you're trying on clothes and stuff.
Mhm.
Dating is that experience. You're just trying on people, see who
Yeah,
fits.
exactly. Yeah.
Frustrating is, or and is it get? I don't know if you could make this qualification. Is it getting more difficult to find somebody because of the way people would rather text than have a phone call? I'd rather, I have so many people in my life now who won't pick up the phone. I'll call them, they won't pick up the phone. 3 minutes later, I'll get a text from them. I know they're waiting some period of time to let me know that I'm here. I have my phone in my hand. I didn't pick up because I don't want to talk to you. I'd rather just talk
Right.
to you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I find people are either trying to be their best self or now they're just like laying it all out on the line, which is appreciated, but I'm also like, we need a little bit of like not too familiar.
Yeah.
So it's finding that healthy balance. But yeah, it is people wanna vet you for a long time, which I always feel like it's not my greatest strength. I feel like you like me the more times you hang out with me, but the first few times you're just like, meh, she's nice enough.
'Cause you're
So
quiet. You're quiet.
yeah,
Yeah, it's hard. I am too. When I generally meet people in this situation, I can get comfortable a lot easier than if you and I were in a room together and I just had to try to. We would just had to meet and like we were just sitting across. I find it awkward and couldn't find anything to talk about, even though you
yes.
you have a lot for me to be curious about. I wouldn't be asking because this is an interview, I guess. But and you can't really do that in social situations. I'm interviewing you. If I could put
Right.
this mindset into social interaction, be a lot better. Maybe that's the trick to it. Just treat everybody like you're interviewing them. Get the microphone, have a conversation, right?
Yeah. I've done
Uh,
that on a few dates, so unclear if it worked or not.
yeah, you come across a lot of and maybe I'm guys who are married who are players and not letting you know that, like online, like married men or guys in relationships with already, and just playing it off online, because that's what I think. I just have the worst opinion of young men.
I haven't encountered that yet, but kind of to my people are really laying it all out there. I've come across a few profiles where it's like, I'm married, but we're in an open marriage and like my wife is fine with this, or the new term is ethically something non-monogamous, where it's like they just date a lot of people, but tell everybody that they're dating a lot of people, and I
We
don't know.
complicate language too much with
Mhm.
this stuff. Ethically non-committed, like non-monogamous, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. I'm married and she lets me screw around. That's
Mhm.
oh man, the world. I'm not optimistic for the world for young people, and I would hate to. as much as I would like my youth back, I'd hate to be a young
Mhm.
person in today's world trying to navigate through society. Are you optimistic?
Um, yes and no. I feel like, you see like a Chelsea Handler and a Joe Coy where they were friends and met later in life and now are happy. So that gives me some hope. But I'm also like, well, what would my life look like if I just didn't have a partner and just did my own thing? And I think that would be fine too, you
Uh,
know?
yeah. Yeah,
So,
some very wise people will tell you, and I'm not a wise person, so I can't say for sure. But I definitely know that it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong person,
yeah,
because that could be a trap. And I know I've been in relationships where I felt like I gotta get out. I gotta get out. This is killing me. It's suffocating me.
yeah.
Um, Talk to me about being a female comedian. I don't know what the ratio is in Austin, Texas, but it seems to me ratio nationwide is pretty, and worldwide I think is pretty. I would say probably 80% male and 20% female in comedy. Does
Right.
that match what you would say?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty equal, or I mean, pretty the same in
Right.
Austin. It's a slow or a smaller community, but hopefully we're growing.
Do you
Um,
do you feel like it's getting better for women, more opportunities, or not?
I think people are more aware of it and trying, but I still see shows all the time where there's no women on it, or a single lady because they feel like, oh, I have to have a female on this show. And it'll be like a lineup of 12 comedians and one female.
Now, do you put a lot of thought into why women have it harder in comedy than men? Or 'cause I have, and I fool myself into thinking I know uh, things about human nature that make these things. But do you think about it at all? Why that would be that women have a harder time being accepted in comedy than men?
Um, I think a lot of it is like conditioning just from the outside world as far as like the patriarchy
Right.
and the myth that women aren't as funny um is pretty common, but also there's a lot of dudes that are not that great either. Um, I don't know. I think it's just we treat them kind of women with more kid gloves and are fragile to them. And uh, yeah, I
Yeah.
find like a lot of the time male comedians want to help me with a tag or do something, which is fine. I don't think they're being rude, but at the same time, I'm like, you're not going up to any other male comedians and doing the same thing. Or they'll like we'll be in a conversation and they'll mostly talk to the other male comedian even though they're like responding to something I said, and I'm like, I'm right here. I'm okay. You don't have to be scared of me or think you're going to say the wrong thing.
Well, it is definitely something to be curious about. Do you notice fan wise, comment the people in the audience? Do you get a better reaction based on gender? Do men appreciate your comedy more than? Because I'm thinking women generally can be catty in a lot of ways. Like, oh yeah, she's funny. I don't like her. uh, and there's a whole lot of dynamics that go into this, but I think sometimes women can be really harder to for a woman to um get to open up than men sometimes. I think there's that part of the dynamic that so a male comic can go out and guys will have this fraternity where it's okay to be funny, and they might want to one up you, but they accept a guy being funny. Women can equally find a man funny. Now, guys, if the woman is too attractive, they can't hear the funny stuff they're saying because all they're thinking about is, I'd like to fuck her.
Yeah.
That's the man. That's the male. The mentality men have is she's hot. I'm not even hearing what she's saying. I'm just noticing she's hot. Now, if she's not like a smoking hot woman, then you might be able to let down your guard for a second and listen to what she's saying and react to it. So that's the half your audience is divided that way. And then the
Yep.
women, if she's too hot, the women hate her. They're just jealous of her. But if she's not, they don't want her being funny because now all of a sudden that is competition. Like I have to compete with her funniness. So I think women are harder for a woman to open the doors with and connect with in a lot of ways. So it's kind of stacked. You have half your audience is against you from the start. Does any of that make sense to you? And do you agree with any
Yeah,
of it?
I think there's a little truth to that. I do find like the audience members, women like me because they are like, something different on the lineup, a point of view I can relate to a little bit more. Um, I think I'm safe to say I'm not a smoke show where I'm really distracting their boyfriend too much. So I feel like I'm a non-threatening, fun person up there. So I do find women enjoy my comedy probably maybe a little more than men, but men do comment and say
Cool.
like good job. But I do think kind of more in the comedian community you get a little bit more of that competition within ladies, not because we don't like each other, but just there's definitely a feeling of less spots available.
Well, good for you. I'm glad it's working out for you. 'Cause I know it's. Now, I don't want to drag you into the whole political stuff, but do you see, because I was talking about this before you came on, and there are women in comedy who are resentful of that all boys club and the way it's always been, and there are women in comedy who have been victimized by um, toxic masculinity. I hate using buzzwords like that, but guys who have, because they've had the authority and swagger in certain rooms, feel like they can abuse women and that kind of stuff. Do you see a lot of that? What they're calling the Me Too movement in comedy, where guys are just sexually abusive or sexually inappropriate constantly with women, or is that, in your mind, is that in any way exaggerated, or you don't see it as much? I'm just trying to gauge what's really happening in the world.
Ooh, that's a good question. So to be fair, I feel like I am not, I get all my gossip and everything secondhand. I'm usually not the person that was there right when it happened. So, um, everybody has been respectful to me, and I can go off of that, but I do know there has been incidents night late in a club, so it's more of that kind of actual fear of things happening versus making awkward sexual advances. I'm sure it happens, and there's been times where somebody has said something kind of left to me that I didn't appreciate, but at the same time, this is like a everyday experience that happens out in the regular world, so you kind of a real threat or there's a real issue.
The drugging thing has me curious because I grew up in an era of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and drugs were a big part of the sexual experience, but women uh, knew that was part of the game, and nobody ever took those drugs against their will. So basically, it was like have a quaalude and let's have sex. We'll both have a quaalude, get messed up, and have sex. But I think somewhere, and I don't know when it started, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like what you were alluding to is guys got into giving women drugs without their knowledge and like slipping it in their drinks and stuff and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Yep.
that to me is bizarre, but so, and I think it happened to my wife one time at one of my gigs.
Oh.
We had some homeless people living with us. My wife likes to
Mm-hmm.
take in homeless people, and she thought she would give them a night out, and came out to my gig. And one of the guys who was there, who was living with us, she thinks slipped something into her drink, because I know she got crazy that night. She came up. She
Mm-hmm.
never does this. I'm playing guitar, and she comes up and she starts making out with me while I'm playing guitar in the band, and like dancing in front of me, like something's a
Yeah.
little off here. And she
Yeah.
thinks that one of the guys drugged her. It's just like manipulation, and it's beyond just being creepy and rapey. It's like something out of a horror movie in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ways. I don't know how you would deal with that. Can you tell? Or has it ever happened to you? Anybody slip anything into your drink?
I have thus far been lucky enough it has not happened to
Good.
me.
Do you know
But
people that it's happened to?
yeah, there's been a few of my friends that it's happened to, and as far as I know, they nothing too scary happened past that point. But even just that of like somebody slips something in your drink and you're not fully aware of what is happening, and you don't know if something bad happened to you that you can recall, and you have to rely on other people to get home safe is scary enough. So,
Wow. Carl Mann says happened here to a female comic I know, but they spotted it.
oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I would just wonder how long it would take to kind of figure out that I've been drugged, and then what do you do? Because once they start getting something doesn't feel right, it could be too late by that time to actually do anything about it, and then that's a scary situation. Where I know I've been drugged.
Yeah.
Kara's coming in the room right now. Let's welcome her. Hello, Kiara. Meet Katie. Katie, meet Kiara.
Hi, Katie. How are you?
Hi, nice to
We were
meet
just talking
you.
about nasty, scary, ugly things.
I
Yeah.
heard. I'm so happy to have a female in our presence right now. It
I
just
know. Well, I talked about that. The ratio of women in comedy, but I think she's probably the third or fourth in the last 300. Yeah,
yeah.
we don't get a lot of lady comedians for whatever reason. And the few, sometimes they often cancel. I get a lot more
Oh,
cancellations from ladies than from men by
Wow.
far.
Maybe
Yeah.
because they see you and
interesting.
you just scream
I am a scary looking
scariness.
dude, but I can't drug you and take advantage of you from here.
That is true. Yeah, I don't know. I can pass you some names.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that. I think because not to be like on a soapbox or anything, but I have been an advocate for comedy because I find I went to a comedy club show with my wife about 4 or 5 years ago before the pandemic, and there was a lot of comedians on that night, but there like six guys went up and not one laugh in the six guys, and then the two final comedians were both women, and they had us both hysterical. And those two women, I found out later, didn't get paid for that
We're
night.
guys.
But
Oh.
three of the guys were getting paid. Those two women who were the entire show, all that was good about the show were the two women. They didn't get paid a cent. So,
Wow.
and I look at it across the board. In like when you see headliners, you'll see Dave Chappelle getting $200 a ticket. Tammy Pescatelli,
Mhm.
$40 a ticket, $30 a ticket. Like, wait, there's a huge inequality in what people will pay for. I know.
Yeah.
So this is why I like to have lady comedians on, and am advocating for a more level playing field. Now, I can't control what people are willing to pay, but I think the more we expose good women who are good comedians to the public, and they start to realize that women can be as funny as men, sometimes even funnier.
Mhm.
Um,
I
that
think I'm funny. I'm
Not you.
hilarious.
No, you're not.
Oh.
You
Oh.
mean funny looking?
Yeah, that too. It adds to my act.
Okay.
Have you ever seen me with my hair up? It's hilarious. I was
Have you
gonna
ever
leave
seen
my
me
hair.
with my hair
My
up?
ears are like this big. I look like a caricature.
Come on, let's see
But-
the ears.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm proud. Wait, where'd they
Wow.
go? Wait,
Wow, I
Wait.
think Dumbo just flew in the room.
you know what else I could do? Wait, let me take. Look at this. That's
Wow,
why
yeah,
they're
you
so
can.
good.
Oh, that's
Wow,
impressive.
that is weird. You're a
Mhm.
weirdo. Get off my show, you weirdo.
I actually flew here this morning. You know, but I was thinking for Christmas. I'm sorry, but for Christmas, Matt asked me what I wanted, and I said I wanted those Velcros that they give to the kids with big ears, where you put the Velcro behind the ear and one on the top, and you could stick your ear to your head. And he didn't take me seriously. He didn't get them for me, and I don't want to buy them for myself, but
I can't
I would
believe
like
that's a
them.
real thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would have helped me when I was little, when I was getting made fun of. But
Do you know who Michael Landon is? Either of you familiar with Michael Landon?
He sounds familiar.
Yeah,
There
I
was
know the name.
He had two shows.
Let me
He was
see.
on Bonanza. Is you familiar with the Bonanza?
No.
Bonanza was
Oh,
a
I
show.
see. Yeah. Let me pull
And
him
he
up.
was on the show called Highway to Heaven. He played an angel. Yeah, that's him.
Oh.
He's got his hair covering his ears there for good reason. He had ears that stuck out. And in the 1960s, when he was on Bonanza, they used to take wax and put it behind his ears and then push it to his head. And you never see a shot behind him, but every once in a while there would be a shot from the back of him. And you could see kind of the wax.
I want wax. I like to wear my hair up. I was just jogging on the treadmill, and I'm like sweating profusely right now, and I really could go for some wax, like just so I could put my hair up. But I got all my parents like bad features. My dad's huge schnoz. My mom's ears. I can't win.
I got my mom's boobs.
Yeah, I know. They're huge in person.
No.
I didn't get my mom's boobs. I got like my father's family is like very big butted and big breasted women. And it gets bigger as they age. So now they're in their 60s and 70s. And like the boobs, if you're going to see them, Matt, on Sunday, the amount of breast and butt that's going to be in there is like, you're going to be sweating.
There's a lot of breast and butt in this room.
Yeah, it's going to be smelly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Katie, I wanted to talk to you about it because right before you came on, I'm not even sure if Kiera caught this part where I was talking about these people who are online who get upset with comedians. This week it's Richie Gervais. But it will be a different person next week. But whatever, they're offended by what he says. And it's not enough to just be offended by what he says, but they have to make everybody else angry at that person. You're seeing a lot of that in comedy, and are you? I know there's a lot going wrong, and a lot of people just saying stuff that is really inappropriate for shock value, which is not necessarily trying to be funny, which is a comedian's job. But do you take part in all that, and what do you make of any of that kind of phenomenon?
Ooh, this is a good question. I kind of go back and forth because I do feel like we can't be crazy reckless with our words. And also I mean, not everything I say is totally truth, but a lot of it is based off truth. So I always come in assuming other comedians are doing the same, which is not necessarily the case. They could be taking a totally different stance than they feel and just trying to make a joke of it all. And so I think that's one thing I have to reckon with within myself is like, just because somebody says it on stage doesn't mean that's really how they feel. But I do think a comedian's job is to push the envelope a little bit and
Right.
get the public to think of something they might not have thought of in a different way. And so
Right.
in that way, I think we need to have a little bit more leeway, especially at open mics, realize these are new jokes that we're thinking about and haven't perfected yet. So
Right.
I definitely give more slack to those types of situations, but I do think we need to also not just be reckless
Yeah,
and
I
know
hear,
that
I understand that, but right now, before I go,